It's finally here. Let's unbox. Alright, it's finally time to unbox this. This is the iPhone 14 Pro Max in deep purple with 128 gigabytes. You can see that they added the detail in the box by making the font and logo purple, which is cool to see. I love unboxing Apple products. It's so nice and it feels super premium. Obviously, we got the phone in all its glory and the USB charger and the manuals and stuff. Alright, so I have the phone set up. Let's check out the features. I had to put a case on it because I know I'm going to break it and stuff. I do have screen protectors here somewhere, and I'm going to put them on later. But anyway, just the first day using this phone, it's crazy. Like all the features. And I upgraded from a Samsung Galaxy S20, which is a 2-year-old phone. It wasn't a bad phone, but this is definitely an upgrade. But first, the actual color. So I actually took off the case to get all these clips, but the color, it just looks amazing. I'm really glad I chose deep purple with it, and it's so subtle, it's so nice, it's so clean. And the phone just feels super big in my hand. Like, the phone is huge. Coming from the S20, which is a lot smaller than this, and I used the iPhone 8 for 2 weeks, which is insanely smaller than this and insanely slow. This is definitely like a huge upgrade in my hands. After a day of using this, I had about 8 hours of screen on time. That was the first day I actually used it, which was mainly just setting up the phone and, getting everything ready, signing in to all the apps and stuff. But I mean, I think 8 hours throughout the day is probably not the best. I don't use my phone a lot throughout the day. I'm always working or I'm always at school. But I saw that the iPhone 13 Pro Max at least got 11 to 13 hours, I think, on screen on time, which is actually crazy. But I also saw that the iOS 16.5 update, I think, fixed this battery issue. So hopefully when it's available to me, I'll be able to get it, or it'll be fixed. I also guess the phone just needs to get used to of how I use the phone and how much I use it a day, like what my brightness is, how much music I listen to, and etc. Also, the always on display is it's always on basically. At nighttime, I notice that it turns off, but I can't find any settings. Again, I haven't used an iPhone in almost 2 years, so all these features are still new to me, and like everything that might have come from the iPhone 13 is still new to me. Or my previous iPhone was, I believe, the iPhone XS Max, which was, I think, 4 years ago when I first got it and when it first released, I think. Next, let's talk about the dynamic island. Man, it's crazy how they added this feature, and it's so, like, I believe, next level into phones. There's so many other features that come with it. Like, it just so smooth on how it works. The Face ID pops up there, the music, when you start charging your phone, and a bunch more. I do see the actual pill and punch hole design when you see it in the sun. You guys probably saw this all over Twitter. I don't personally find it annoying, but they could. One way to fix it, or one way to make it less prominent, is they cut how many pixels are actually black around it, so they make the dynamic island actually smaller, like the software dynamic island, not the pill cutout. But at the end of the day, I don't think it will be that much of a difference. That's the only way I could think that they can actually try to fix it, because you can't make pixels any darker when they're already dark as they can be. But that's one of my favorite touches. It doesn't show up on screenshots either, and even when you go to like reach mode on it, it doesn't show. And now let's talk about the camera, the 48 megapixel camera. I think this is the biggest leap that Apple has actually been through with cameras, with their main cameras at least. And I started taking pictures in nighttime and daytime, and they look amazing. Here's some examples, but even like the nighttime pictures, I could never get this on my Samsung S20, even like in that time, like when the phone was new. All the colors are just so like popping, and like even if you use it in like Snapchat or something like that, coming from an Android where third-party apps are not really meant for these phones or really optimized for these phones, switching over to Apple like this is such an upgrade when you're using third-party apps. And then also they added this new action mode where it stabilizes the camera, so it uses like I think an optical zoom when you're running or something like that, or doing some action mode or something like that. It stabilizes the camera by zooming in a little bit, and it looks so good. Here's an example, by the way, of just me running. Another thing that they added is autofocus on the front camera, which is actually crazy. It's something that you don't really care about, because front-facing cameras are mostly for just like Snapchat or like TikTok real quick. But adding that extra little detail is crazy. Now let's talk about the display. The display is obviously 120 hertz, and it goes down to 1 hertz when you're on the lock screen, when it's always on display, which is actually good because it saves a lot of battery. But other than that, the phone feels really fluid with that 120 hertz. Even just scrolling through settings, sometimes I'll just go through and scroll through settings because it's so smooth. Another crazy feature that I want to talk about, which is not just specific for this phone, I think it's for iOS 16, is when you get engraving on your AirPods now, and you want to connect to your phone. When you first connect, when you open it, it pops up at the bottom. It will show the engraving on the screen. And here's a little example. I didn't get the engraving on my AirPods. I got the AirPods 3rd generation, but I didn't get the engraving because I was too eager to get them in store. I just wanted them on that day. But that's a crazy feature. This is more of a feature for iOS 16, and what they did with the lock screen is actually crazy. You can choose your own font, or it chooses specific pictures that have good quality, and the figure is easier to outline. It could pop in front of the clock, which is actually a crazy feature. All right, so why did I make the switch to Apple? First of all, for content creation, I think Apple is more superior. Using third-party apps like TikTok and Instagram and whatnot. The quality is a lot better, obviously, in the cameras and stuff like that. Also, I just wanted to change. I like to change every couple of years. Before the Samsung S20, I used to have the iPhone XX Max, which is a great phone as well. I have nothing against Samsung. Obviously, they have their pros and cons, and so does Apple. Cons in Apple right now, since I just switched to this phone and I'm super excited about it, I can't think of any cons other than light bugs and stuff like that. But anything else, I can't really think of it. Everything just works so good together. Like you want to FaceTime someone, iMessage, all that. It works so good. All my friends have iPhone anyways. And don't get me wrong, Samsung and Samsung work together great as well. Like I have the Samsung Galaxy Watch 4 and then the Samsung S20, which worked perfectly together. I will be upgrading to probably the Apple Watch SE 2, which just came out recently as well. I'm just waiting for my bank account to get okay because this was an expensive phone. And I could have went with the Samsung S23, which just got announced recently, but also I want to change a feel in the phone, like using iOS or whatever Samsung uses. I don't even know. But that's going to be it for today. I'm sorry this might be a shorter video, but there's a lot of features that I have to go through. I'm still new to the iOS ecosystem and stuff like that, the whole Apple thing. But for more, I wanted to still test out the battery, still go through a lot of the features throughout the day and stuff, how long it lasts me through the day, and etc. So if you guys want to see more like that, subscribe, and you know what? I'll catch you on the flip side. Peace.